next day was cloudy, and it was really windy. Foala woke up early and heard a knock on her door just as she trotted downstairs. When she opened it, she was ecstatic to see Comet standing there with a huge smile on his face. "Are you ready to test the machine?" he asked her. "The winds are perfect." "Am I ready?" Foala exclaimed. "I was born ready." "So was I." They galloped to an enormous hill a bit of a long distance away from Ponyville, where you could have a good view of the mountains and the city of Canterlot in the far distance. As they galloped, they pulled the machine with them and laughed and talked excitedly the whole way there. When they reached the top of the hill, the wind was getting stronger and it whipped their mane and tails around wildly like flags. Comet strapped on the machine with help from Foala, and he got ready to launch the machine and test it. "Aren't you going to need a helmet?" Foala asked, slightly worried. "Nah," Comet replied confidently. "I don't need one. The wind isn't that bad. Besides, if this thing fails, I doubt I'll be able to go even 4 inches off the ground." "Well, if you say so," Foala said, still worried, but she let it go. "Are you ready?" "I was born ready." Comet started galloping forward, gaining more and more speed with every inch. Foala suddenly noticed that the clouds were getting darker, and she could see lightning flash in the distance. When Comet had reached full speed, he leaped as high as he could. When he was in the air, he pulled a lever and the contraption's wings started flapping. He was being lifted higher into the air. "It's working!" he shouted down to Foala, laughing with glee. "It's working!" "Maybe I should land," Foala called up. "There's a storm coming!" But Comet couldn't hear her over the wind roaring in his ears. The clouds grew black and it started to rain. The winds grew stronger and Comet was horrified to hear a snapping noise and one of the wings dangled limply. But he wasn't falling yet. There was a sudden blast of sharp wind and he did a backwards flip in the air. He heard another snapping noise, then a crack. There was a bright, blinding flash of white light, an ear-piercing crackling sound, and he felt a shot of pain. Foala watched, jaw dropping open and eyes huge as Comet plummeted towards the ground, the machine on fire. She galloped forward, trying to catch him, but he caught up to the ground and crashed before she could reach him. As Comet and the machine lay in a tangled mess on the ground, the heavy rain doused the small flames left from the lightning strike. When she reached him, Foala dragged Comet out of the wreckage and held him in her arms, praying with all her heart that he was still alive. After a short time, he slowly opened his eyes and looked up into Foala's face. "I guess Earth ponies aren't meant to fly," he said quietly, smiling. "Not in stormy weather," Foala answered him, but she wasn't smiling. Comet reached up a shaking hoof and swept Foala's wet mane out of her eyes. "Carry on, my dream," he said, his voice growing even softer. Foala couldn't say anything. "I have a question. Do you love me?" But before Foala could answer, Comet Blaze closed his eyes and was gone.